Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Sunday, May the 5th, 2013, and here is this week's weekend review brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices close the week and the monthly charts out. Then we're going to take a look at some key sectors, some key stocks, take a look at some other things that we got going on here, and then we'll leave it at that. So far, I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. As you guys know, we have a big week of us ahead because we had a big breakout on Friday from the jobs number. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they close, how they start the week off on Monday and Tuesday and see what type of action we get going on here. But we had a very bullish day on Friday. It was very powerful. I would say the market didn't even pull back right when the market opened. We rallied up a bit more, then gave like a little small pullback, and then we closed. We rallied to the highs, and then we kind of just traded in a smart little tight range, sold off a little bit for the day, but. We'll see. We're going to take a look at the charts here. Let's first off by taking a look at the SPY monthly chart. SPY closed Friday at 161.36. Okay, we're above this 157.52 level, which was the highs that we had back here in 2007. And you can see we're even above the 2000 highs back here. All right, the 2000 high was 155.75. We're at 161.37. The 2007 high was right here at 157.52. So we're well above those highs right there. You can see we have a nice little powerful trend right here on the monthly chart for the year. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive higher closes of the monthly chart. And if we close out this month, if we close out the month of April with a higher close here, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 higher closes in general from the past there. So let's take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart looking good, of course, in a nice little upward channel right here. This target of the channel equivalates to 165. All right, which leaves us with another 4 points or so to the top side. You can see we've been chopping around that 154 level earlier here back in March and April. We started moving away from that level, and now we took out these highs right here of 159.71, and we're making our way higher. All right, so a nice close above these highs from back here in mid-April, and we'll have to see what takes place going into this week's here of trading. If we take a look at the daily chart, you can see volumes picking up from this little downward channel right here. It's downward volume pattern, and we have 2 consecutive higher closes. All right, and we have a nice close right here. So, little crazy action. We'll see how if we can break over these 162s. But if you take a look at the 5-minute chart, we just kind of gapped up. Let me just fix this up a bit here. Just kind of gapped up, rallied up a bit, then we sold off, and we rallied into the close a bit, then we sold off again. So, most of the action around the midday was kind of slow. You can see we had a big powerful candle, and we just kind of faded that down a little bit. So we definitely want to watch this 161 level on the SPY, because if we break below that 161 level and we hold below that, we may fade back down a bit. A lot of people are getting excited here on this jobs number. So let's see if it holds. Let's see these bulls, try to hold these 159.71s or call it 160s if we continue trending higher. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the IWM. The IWM had a nice day on Friday as well, up a little over 1.5%, and it did make new highs for the year on the IWM here. Okay, let's see. And if we take a look at the monthly chart still a nice little uptrend. Weekly chart still a nice little uptrend. You can see we're trying to break above this little range that we've been trading in since back here, I would say, in February. So if we can hold above this 95 level on the IWM, look for this to continue higher. And then we have a nice little range to work off of right here. If you guys recall, the IWM was the leading index at the start of the year here. Now it's trying to play catch up because the leader has been the Dow, and then the S&P, and then the NASDAQ is starting to catch up a bit. Okay, and the Russell's kind of been lagging, but it's just to pick up some steam. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the triple Qs. All right, before we take a look at the triple Qs, I remember on Friday, I showed you guys the little channel system of the NASDAQ futures here, highlighting the fact that we're in this nice little channel, and saying that if we broke the top of this channel, we could get a nice little power move. So we did break the top of that channel here. All right, this little big wide channel that we've been trading in. Upward angle. All right, and these usually resolve to the downside, right? But if they break the top of the channel and hold, That's usually causes a nice little powerful move, and we could be getting that right now. You do see the moving averages, the short-term moving average is starting to pull farther apart away from the 20 right here. So we could be in a powerful little uptrend that's about to take place in the markets, and I'm looking at the cues to kind of probably, if that happens, I'm looking at the cues to be the leader on the next move up here in the markets, the NASDAQ to lead the way. So we definitely want to do our research and look for some good stocks that are traded in the NASDAQ like I've been highlighting for the past week or so. But the Nasdaq futures look like they could go up there towards 3,000. Let's see how that equates to the triple Qs. The triple Qs, as you guys know, are above their 50% Fibonacci from the tech bubble sell-off back here in 2000. All right, you can see the next level will be up here towards 82.37, which was the 61.8% retracement from this big sell-off that we had back in the tech bubble 2000 to 2002 era there. So let's take a look at the weekly chart. I'm sorry, the monthly chart here. You can see we have this nice little upward channel that's still in play, of course. And as long as we can hold above 70, I would say look for the triple Qs to start pushing their way up higher. If we get this nice momentum to continue in the markets. And if you take a look at the weekly charts, weekly chart, nice little upward trend line still intact. Did try to shake out some participants, or did shake out some participants about 3 weeks ago, and now they're back in, and now you can see this nice little wedge pattern right here that's we're breaking out of. So this should have some more momentum if we see this nice little volume pick up to the top side. We should get some nice momentum, some nice follow through here. All right, this makes it a little bit more interesting for the fact that you guys know the Qs have been the lagging index a bit there, so they can definitely show some leadership and start taking the lead here. We should see some new money flow into the markets and trying to find some way to make some income, so people will start investing in some of these stocks that have not really moved yet, that are in this index or something like that. You guys get the whole game plan. Find out some stocks in the Nasdaq that look good, that aren't at their highs, of course, and try to pick some of those ones up. And I have a couple that we'll take a look at here in the later part of the video here. So it's going to take a look at the dollar futures, because the dollar futures, have been getting some nice whipsaw action here for the past couple of days. You can see we had this nice little selling pressure came in, little shake out to the bottom, move right back up. Then Friday, some crazy action. One thing to take note of though on this dollar futures chart, this daily chart, we broke this little downward trend line right here, and we're still holding above it. So the real level that we need a break to get bearish on the dollar, even more bearish on the dollar. If you are bearish on the dollar, like I know a lot of people out there that are bearish on the dollar, we would need a break below this 81.55 level, right below this little back below this trend line pretty much, and then back below this little base right here, this little area that I've highlighted as a prior resistance zone, but since now we're above it, it's a support zone. Okay, let's going to take a look at that euro dollar. All right, last week they did the rate cut. That caused the euro to spike up and then sell off, and then the buyers came back in on Friday. And we're just really trading in a range. Again, we don't trade the euro, but we do use this as a gauge to kind of gauge the macro environment with the currencies and the commodities and the market, and the equity markets, the bond markets all put together. So you can see right now the euro usually trades in correlation with the equities, and right now this is just trading sideways, and equities are trending higher. So we got to keep an eye on this right here. I like to kind of catch the euro when it's in correlation with the market and everything's moving together. It gives you a little bit more comfort with your trades. Just like when you're watching the VIX and the dollar and the bonds and gold commodities throughout the day, you can kind of get a gauge of risk on, risk off on an intraday basis. But right now the euro's trading sideways. All right, let's go and take a look at that volatility index, the VIX. All right, the VIX did break below that 1350 level that I was holding for about the past 2 weeks or so. And if we can stay below 1350 and break below 12, we're going to be coming back down to these lows that we made back here in March, around the March the 14th. All right, just doesn't seem there's no fear in the markets. You guys know every time we pop up on the VIX, they've been selling it off. Pop up on the VIX, sell it off. Pop up on the VIX, they sell it off. Same thing right here. So throughout the whole year, that's kind of been the game plan. The VIX spikes up, sell volatility, but that's what's going on right now. All right, one thing that I do see going on is possible the reflation trade being back on. Copper had a big move on Friday. All right, and inflation trade being back on, reinflation trade being back on, as in like these, the government's printing 85 billion into the system, pumping that into the system on a monthly basis, and the market inflation, we really aren't seeing that inflation, because if we were, gold would be moving higher. But we are seeing some of these growth commodities, such as copper and crude oil, starting to catch a little bit bear. Crude oil, I mean, sorry, copper's been getting smashed lately, but it did get a nice little bounce on Friday with some nice volume, so we definitely got to keep an eye on it. It's trying to get back above this 330 level that from this little range that we've been watching here. All right, so if copper can get back above $3.30, and we could hold above that level, we can start trending up. That would be a bullish sign for the global economy, I guess you could say, because there's copper usually gives you a good clue of what's going on with the economy. And it's been getting beat up lately, but this is a powerful reversal bar right here. And if you take a look at crude oil, right, another commodity that I've been tracking lately, crude oil, all right, this thing has been, trading a little bit volatile, I would say, but it's been trading pretty clean. Been watching. I mean, we're gauging it off the monthly chart for the fact that the monthly chart, you can see it's in this nice little tight consolidation. And since the start of the year, I've been talking about looking for a big move in crude oil come the end of the second quarter, or some by the end of the summer or something. But you can see that this thing's just coiling up, and I'm not sure what's going to be the catalyst if this thing breaks down or breaks out on a big scale, which it's shaping up to. That's what it's shaping up for right now here. So we have this nice little tight consolidation, and we should be looking for a big move or a big move down here. But the trend of this chart still to the downside from the sell-off that we had back here in 2008, 2009. We still had these little lower highs. So the trend is down, but we can see we got a little battle going on right now between the oil bulls and the oil bears. So we'll see how that plays out. But just keep an eye on crude oil. I'm definitely expecting it to make a big move sometime this year. You take a look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart had another back test of that momentum trend line that we broke inside the channel, inside the triangle. Had the little breakout. The back test held, rallied up, fell at 97.50, came right back down. Back test held. Now it's going back up. This third time might be a charm. So you definitely want to take a look at some of these energy ETFs, some of these energy stocks, or some of these vehicles that you could trade crude oil with, like the USO or the DBO, if I'm not mistaken. So weekly chart, crude oil is looking bullish again here. Now that we held, and you can see we're back above this little resistance zone that I had from before. If we can hold above these 94s, we put this little higher base right here, a higher base right here, so we're still stair-stepping our way high. If we could break and hold above these 94s like we did on Friday, or pretty much hold above 94 going forward, we can look for a move over 98 and then possibly a move towards 100. This is shaping up as a bullish pattern right here, so we'll see how that plays out. We definitely want to take advantage of that move, in some way to make some income if this starts to get a little bit more bullish there. So keep an eye on that. Crude oil making a nice little move there. If you take a look at gold. All right, gold had a nice little pop up. Well, actually, yeah, gold's had a nice little consolidation this week, but for the past 2 weeks, it's been trending higher, like grinding its way higher. It's kind of tough to get into it right now, but it's trading sideways. Take a look at the monthly chart. Still looks pretty sloppy. So you want to be careful with trading gold. Take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart is trying to get a balance. You can see that 1400 is definitely going to be key level to watch here. As you can see, for the past 2 weeks, it's been holding about that little 1400 level. So that's the reference level that you want to work off of right now. And then I would say around this 1500 level. So 1400 between 1500 and then maybe midpoint range right there, be like 1450. All right, then we have the daily chart, which I showed you guys. And for some of you guys that watch GLD, you can see the same thing in the GLD. GLD just trending right here, right around these moving averages. All right, what else we got going on? Silver, SLV. All right, silver bouncing up here, still holding above that key 23 level, which is the top of the little range. It was trading before. It had this nice little momentum that tried to come into silver, but we rolled right back over. Now we're moving right back up. So again, a little volatile in the metals, guys. Definitely, if you're looking for an easier trade, you definitely want to stay away from the precious metals. All right, if you take a look at the gold miners, the GDX. The GDX had a nice little pop up last week and just been trading sideways now. And it's holding this nice little 29 base right here that's starting to build around 29. I guess if we could trade between 29 and this 31 level here for the next couple of days, we can maybe try to build a stronger base and try to get a lift up here. So we'll see how that plays out. Just keep it on the GDX. It's consolidating right now. It's definitely going to give you another opportunity possibly to short it if it does not catch momentum and it starts to roll over. All right. What else did I want to take a look at with you guys? So some of these, copper had a big move. Crude oil had a nice little bullish move back up. We're looking at some of these agriculture stocks like Monsanto. Monsanto's a nice looking stock. You can see it's been trading this nice little range between 104 and 98. Held the 102 level right there. And now it's holding this nice little 104 level. And if we could break over 108, this thing could pick up some momentum. You can see it did break this little downward trend line that we have right there. So keep an eye on Monsanto, Potash, another stock that's trying to catch a little bid on it. You can see it's back above the 200-day moving average, which is this black line right here. And it's back above this little pivot right here. Okay, so above the moving averages, it has come a long way. Maybe you want to see if it could build some type of base, but if momentum continues to come in the name and it holds above this 42 level, look for this thing to make its way up here towards 44. But right now, this one's definitely have been catching some buyers in there. Some of the other agriculture names are lagging though, like the ones that you would want to see show leadership, like CF. CF's lagging a bit. They do have earnings coming out next week, so it's definitely going to be a big week for them. Some of the energy stocks look good. ExxonMobil, this is definitely a name that if you guys are looking for a nice trade, definitely want to keep your eye on this one right here. You can see it has this little key trend line that we've been trying to break past. I'm going to include this one right here because we popped up towards it, and now we're right back at the area. So this thing could hold above 90. All right, we could definitely get a nice move back up towards 91, then 92, and then possibly these 93s right here. Chevron has been the better name if you're looking to trade that large integrated energy company type of stock. You can see Chevron's leading the way. They had earnings a week ago, and this has been trending higher, so it still looks pretty good. You take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart looks good. Then you take a look at the monthly chart. The monthly chart continues to make new all-time highs here. So this is a good company name if you're expecting the equities continue their march higher. What else do I want to take a look at? CAT, Joy Global. These are some growth stocks as well. Of course, they make equipment. Caterpillar, you're pretty familiar with Caterpillar. Joy Global, they make mining equipment. You can see they're breaking their downward trend lines that they've been in since February. They broke the downward trend line, rallied up a bit, back test held. Now they're moving higher. Same pattern. Well, let's take a look at the weekly chart real quick. The weekly chart, all right, holding that key 80 level down there after selling off, for since January the 20th. They've been in this nice little strong downtrend. Now they're getting a little bounce here. Take a look at the monthly chart on Caterpillar. Caterpillar has some support around 80, so you want to keep an eye on this stock. This stock may try to get a reversal bounce back up. Again, off that daily chart. Still has some moving average to contend with right there. Joy Global, the same type of pattern. Broke the nice little downward trend line. Held the downward trend line. Now moving back higher. I actually like this one a little bit better. Nice little base. But one thing, you see the pattern though, right, guys? You see the growth stocks. These ones have been a nice little downtrend. They're breaking their downtrend lines. They're rallying up. They're holding the back test, and now they're moving higher. All right, if you can spot some more names with those patterns, you definitely want to group them together and see which ones are performing the best, so you can kind of mark the relative strength of the pattern with the mark, and that's going to be a good trade idea for you guys. That's one way to put ideas together, by the way, when you're looking for stocks to trade and trying to find get a little different view of the different stocks in the key sectors and stuff. But let's see what else we got going on here. Macy's, if you're looking at the retail stocks, Macy's is a strong retail stock. This one's just on fire. All right, you have Macy's. Lulu has been one of the names that have been, continuing to trend higher. All right, take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart's going to have a breakout if it could break over 78. Take a look at the monthly chart. The monthly chart's in this little range between 62, call it, and 78 here. Nice engulfing candle last month, though. What else do I want to show you guys here? Biotech, REGN. This stock has been on fire. They had some type of news that came out last week, if I'm not mistaken. The stock's just been continuing higher. Power stock right there. Definitely wanted to take a look at that if you're interested in those pharmaceutical high beta companies. What else? GLW. All right, GLW. This stock I just researched. I like the pattern. It broke out this little range it's been trading in. You have a nice little base you can work off of here, right here at 14.25. If you get in at 14.75, you could risk about 50 cents to try to make a dollar on this thing, or even more, because the trend on the monthly chart. All right, this thing has a nice little rounding bond that could be forming right here. 1, 2, 3 consecutive higher months closes. Take a look at the weekly chart. Nice little powerful weekly candlestick last week. Nice little follow through this week. Then you take a look at the daily chart. It's just starting to get the next momentum move higher. You can see this is a range. and a nice little base right here at 14.25. So keep an eye on the stock. Maybe you can get to a little pullback on Monday, and you could pick it up for a dip and try to catch the continuation of this trend as this thing continues right here. All right, again, you have that 14.25 level to work down there off of your support. So if you get in at 75 cents, you could risk about 50 or 60 cents to try to catch that $1.20 move. See if you can make it. Possibly, it can make its way back up towards. Let's see here, back up towards these 16s, 17s or so in the coming weeks. All right, some weak names that I see out there in the market. You can take a look at Deckers. Deckers, consumer discretionary retail, of course, but who's buying this stuff? The stock has, you know, the stock has sold off from the earnings report. It's been trading sideways, kind of like a little bear flag pattern right here, off this big down move, a little sideways action right there, which is usually indicative of a move lower. So keep an eye on Deckers. If it breaks below, I would say if it breaks below 53 and holds below 53, one thing you do have to worry about those is this 50-day moving average right there. But still, stock is looking weak right there in the daily chart. Got rejected at the 200-day moving average on the weekly. And on the daily, it sold off and it rallied. It rallied all the way back up a bit. It's still, one second. No, that's wrong. Let me take this Fibonacci level from right here down here. All right, so it rallied towards a 38.2. Wasn't able to make it. Got rejected at the 20-day moving average. Little doji reversal bar last week off this little up move. Move is lower, so this could be the area where they try to short it for a move right back down. So keep an eye on Deckers. All right, Deckers does look kind of sloppy. Actually, let's take a look at the 60-minute chart real quick here. You can see the 60-minute right there. Try to gap up, try to hold, and it failed. This one could definitely get some more continuation next week, so keep an eye on that one. What else did I want to show you guys? Let's see. Lowe's. LOW. This is another good name out there breaking out this little triangle. Nice continuation move. This one wants to make new highs for the year. I'm pretty sure it's right there. Needs to go up about 40 cents. So keep an eye on this one on Monday. You can see a nice little bull flag on the hourly chart. Wow, this looks pretty nice. Keep an eye on the Lowe's trade. I'm actually putting that on the A list to watch. LOW. Another stock that looks pretty good. Again, I already showed you guys that Joe Y Global. The Joe Y Global has a nice little bull flag on the 60-minute chart. STX has been on fire. I'm watching some more of these energy names. So STX looks pretty good, so you want to make sure you take a look at WDC, NTAP, all these data storage companies. Make sure you take a look at those names. NTAP's kind of sloppy, but this one could get some juice here. Take a look at the 60-minute chart. See this? Trying to form like a little bull flag action right there, but what else we got going on, people? Let's see here. NE, another energy company name that looks pretty good. All right, you can see this one has a nice little W looking pattern action going on right here. All right, then you take a look at the weekly chart, nice little upward trend line. Take a look at the monthly chart, just pretty much trading near the bouncing off the bottom of the range. Could get some action again if we get those crude oil, get that crude oil start moving up. I want to see how some of these energy stocks react. Now, I'm not a big person as far as understanding how the different companies work off the price movement in crude, as far as the refiners and some of the companies that make the products. I got to do more research on that type of aspect. But, we definitely want to keep an eye on some of these energy companies to see how they start reacting with this crude oil action we have going on right now. So, in any case, have a great weekend, guys. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow. Make sure you go check out the chat room, mywallstreettv.com. To get the password to log in, you have to go to wallstreettrading.com and fill out the form fill out the form for the 14-day trial on the right-hand side. Don't worry, you do not have to put no credit card information. All you have to do is put your email, and you will get the credentials sent to your email box. Have a great night, guys. Cheers.